Mike, Fairfax, Virginia, wants to defend Paris Hilton's right to sit on her butt by the pool and earn her dividends. Hey, Mike, tell me why.
Well, you've already kind of talked a little bit about it, Tom. How you doing? Before she spends that dollar, it's been taxed about 6 different ways, and we can debate whether that's right or wrong. But
hang on just a second. You get a paycheck, right?
I do.
Do you think that came from a tax-exempt entity?
No, it didn't.
Okay. I mean, none of us have a dollar. There's not a single dollar in your pocket that hasn't been taxed 16 different ways. It's the old W.C. Fields joke about water. He says, never drink water, fish screw in it, It's like, there's not a drop of water on earth that hasn't been through somebody's kidneys. It's like, similar, there's not a dollar on earth that hasn't been through somebody's taxation. That doesn't mean that rich people shouldn't pay taxes.
The problem that we have, though, is the caller that said his mom lived off dividends. Our interest rates are so artificially low right now that anybody trying to retire on any kind of savings is really just out of luck. And we need to figure out a way that they can save for themselves to offset so that you can have private investors save for their own retirement and earn a reasonable dividend that's not taxed at an exorbitantly high rate.
Well, they can put their money into a pension.
That is at risk.
They can put their money into a pension. But, Mike, I don't disagree with you that interest rates are absurdly low and that it's hard for anybody to live on retirement. But that, Paris Hilton making presumably millions of dollars a year in capital gains, or Mitt Romney, we know, he's making tens of millions of dollars a year in capital gains and paying a maximum 20% tax rate. I haven't heard anything from you that justifies having their income taxes capped at 20%. It was 15% up until a few months ago. Having their tax rates capped at 15 or 20%, whereas the surgeon who saved my wife's life, he's going to have to pay up to 39%, and I have no problem with that surgeon making over $320,000 a year.
No, I understand. I think it's a difference of opinion. I'll tell you one other point though. As a conservative,
well, what's the difference of opinion? What's your justification for Paris Hilton paying a lower tax rate than the surgeon who worked on Louise?
Well, it gets into the difference between what you believe. You value labor more. That labor should have a preferential treatment over capitalists.
I'm saying they should have equal treatment
and invested at risk.
I'm just calling. I'm with Ronald Reagan on this. Fine, you grab that clip. I am with Ronald Reagan on this. That a bus driver and a millionaire should pay the same taxes. I
would support a flat tax if everybody paid the same.
I'm not talking about a flat tax. I'm talking about whatever the income tax rate is. That with regard that there should not be loopholes in the tax code that are just there for rich people. You got that, Shane? Listen to this, Mike. Just listen to this. This is Ronald Reagan talking about the capital gains rate. And by the way, he did something about it.
We're going to close the unproductive tax loopholes that have allowed some of the truly wealthy to avoid paying their fair share. In theory, some of those loopholes were understandable, but in practice, they sometimes made it possible for millionaires to pay nothing, while a bus driver was paying 10% of his salary, and that's crazy. Do you think the millionaire ought to pay more in taxes than the bus driver, or less?
More. says the Republican audience. And Ronald Reagan was the only president since in the 20th century, to the best of my knowledge. I don't think FDR could even pull this off. I'd have to go back and look at a chart. He raised the capital gains tax rate up to 28% when he dropped the maximum earned income rate down to 28%. Ronald Reagan said that Paris Hilton should pay the exact same tax rate as my wife's surgeon. And I'm agreeing with him. I don't understand why you would disagree with him, Mike.
I would disagree with him.
Why? What is Paris Hilton doing that's morally superior to a guy who operates on women with breast cancer?
Again, I think it's the value of the dollar and where you put it on whether it's labor that produced the dollar. There's this production, consumption, capitalist discussion that you always have, and I think that the capitalist, by the time they've made that dollar, has already put it at risk multiple times, and it's been taxed multiple times.
This is gibberish.
Now, if you were willing to change the tax code so that when the
wait a minute, Mike, that's total gibberish. If Paris Hilton is taking $1 million and investing it, yes, she's putting some money at risk, and she might lose that money. But I guarantee you, the surgeon who operated on my wife, every single day he wakes up, he's risking having a door close on his fingers and breaking a finger and losing his occupation for the rest of his life.
Yep.
So, again, what is he doing that makes him morally inferior to Paris Hilton?
So let's change the tax code. Let's correct the problem here. I think that the problem is you want the dollar as it moves through the economy to be taxed at an equal rate.
I think a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. That whether you earn your money with money or whether you earn your money by the sweat of your brow or the thoughts of your mind, it should be taxed the exact same rate.
I agree with that 100%, and that's why we need tax reform. And if you got rid of a 50% inheritance tax and all of the business tax.
Wait a minute. The inheritance tax is a whole different thing. We're talking about capital gains here.
Okay. So what I'm saying is,
if you get rid of the capital gains tax, suddenly we don't have a deficit anymore.
Okay. What I'm saying is if you want capital gains tax at the same rate of labor, then you have to set some of those other tax rules to where they offset one another.
Why?
I don't think you can just, you just want to go after one group of people.
Yes, absolutely. I want to say that the Paris Hiltons and I beg your pardon? Oh, 1 minute. I want to say that the Paris Hiltons of the world and the Mitt Romneys of the world can no longer have a tax loophole where they only pay 20% income tax on money over $320,000 a year. When they start making over $320,000 a year, that's how much my wife's surgeon at that point, he has to start paying 39% income tax. So should they. And that doesn't require us to do anything to inheritance taxes. It doesn't require us to do anything to sales taxes or any other kind of tax. And it will bring in an enormous amount of money into our economy. And frankly, I think it'll cause people to behave a little more rationally on Wall Street.
I'm rooting for you guys on one other thing, though.
What's that?
I'm rooting for you guys to lift the cap off Social Security, because the minute you guys change it into a wealth redistribution program instead of a fixed benefit insurance program, you'll kill the program.
How so?
Because you're going to turn it into a wealth transfer program where
it already is.
I pay more in, do I get more out, or are you going to means test it?
Oh, no, you don't have to means test it. All you do is lift the cap and everything is fine. I mean, the means test is the solution to not lifting the cap. Turn it into a welfare program. And you're right. If you were to means test Social Security, which is what Simpson and Bowles are talking about, means testing Social Security and or Medicare, and what Paul Ryan wants to do, you will kill it because you turn it into a welfare program, and it's so politically easy to kill welfare programs. Mike, I agree with you on that.